In the prior video, we worked part A, and I did it on an Excel spreadsheet. Here's your contribution margin statement from the solutions. They just did such a nicer job than I wanted to even invest time in creating this nice little table. So I'm going to work part B. The video tutorial for this is just going to come straight from the solutions manual. Absolutely hate it, but doing it that way, but sometimes it just makes more sense. So B says, calculate the magnitude of operating leverage and then round the decimal to two places. And then using a measure of operating leverage, determine what will happen to net income if sales is increased by 10%. All right, well, let's knock that out. So operating leverage is contribution margin divided by net income. So in this case, contribution margin is $93,000 divided by $19,000 or net income. Keep in mind that after we subtract variable costs from sales, we have $93,000 or the contribution margin. So the contribution margin is what's left over after subtracting variable costs that do two things. Pay for the fixed costs right here and give us a net income. So if you think about that, that's all contribution margin is. What is left to contribute towards paying fixed costs and giving us a profit, net income. Okay? So if we are able to not increase fixed costs and increase volume, sales volume, or the sales price, not necessarily the volume. We can increase prices and leave volume the same. As long as we can grow that contribution margin while fixed costs remain the same, we can increase profits, right? Mathematically speaking, how can we calculate that? The operating leverage gives us this idea. So 93,000 divided by 19,000 is 4.89 times. That's rounded. So 4.89x if you wanted to abbreviate it. So that means that we earn 4.8 times the cost of, or times our profit. We have some significant leverage here to pay for fixed costs. But now, like leverage with debt, operating leverage also, we really magnify the impact on profit by increasing sales. So C says, what if there's a 10% increase in sales? Well, what you do is this. Right there. You take 10, not 0.1, 10 times 4.89, and you get 48.9%. Okay? You get 48.9%. Step 2 is you take sales and multiply it by, this time you do have to go to decimal, 0.489. And then you multiply 489 times 19,000 and then add that back to 19,000 and you get 28,291. 28,291. And I don't like to do it that way. And I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to flip over to the Excel spreadsheet. So net income was 19,000, right? And we just calculated 48.9. So I get to 48.9 using this formula right there. And then there's one thing I do different. I take 1 and then I add the number I just calculated together, and then I multiply it by 19,000. And I get 28,291. Okay? So that's how I work that one. I don't do this 19,000 times 0.489, whatever number that is, then add the 19,000 to get 28.91. That's just too much work. All right, you can do it that way, the way I just did it on the Excel spreadsheet, or you can do it this way right here. It's all good. It all ends up in the same place where we need to be. So your path, just be consistent. It's my rule of thumb. Start working it one way and stay with it. somebody showed me this the first time. I was like, oh no, that's the game changer for me. I'm going to do it this way from now on. So that's what I do it. And I show everybody when I can that method, just in case they don't know. All right, so bottom line is for C, because we have such a strong operating leverage, when we increase sales, it really does pretty well significantly impact the bottom line, right? We get, significantly. We go from a little less than 20,000 to a little less than 30,000, really. A little bit less, almost a 50% increase, right? 48.9. Pretty significant. Well, anyway, this concludes the video. And if you have any questions, please email me.